Just trying to get my desk showing properly. There we go. I'll go to that in a minute. How is everyone today? I hope you are enjoying life. Getting close to Christmas, less than a month away now. Woo! So today I am going to use the gorgeous hanging ornaments set. Let me move over to there and show you. You'd be glad to know, if you don't know already, but my mum is a lot better, I'm delighted to say, which is great. And yeah, I've got a couple of little projects to show you today. We're going to make a Christmas bauble. That's the main project for today. So here we go. Hope you can see it all right there. It's got lots of different sides. So rather nice. We're going to make that all embossed. Rather pretty. Well, we're going to make one in a different colour because obviously I don't want to make the same thing twice. I never make the same thing twice. Just realised I haven't got the chat up. So let me just get the chat up so I can see if anybody is there. If you are there, please let me know that you're watching and where you're from and what the weather's like. It's glorious here today. We've had a lovely day. It's really cold. I went out doing my usual litter picking walk this morning and I forgot to take my gloves. And I was freezing. My hands were freezing. The rest of me was all right because I was walking and I had a nice thick coat on, but my hands were freezing. Oh, but I'd rather it was like that than dull and rainy and horrible, and particularly snowing because I don't like snow. Anyway, let me just swap the view so that you see my desk rather than my face, which is a much better thing to see. I think that's about straight. Is that in focus? I hope it is. Yeah, let me know. Right, so we're going to use, to make this, let me show you it in a bit more close up. So it's just got a little silver thread hanger and then a multi-sided bauble. I've made this with 5. You can make it with 6. 6 is fine as well. You could make it with even more. It would just sort of close up the sides. You could make it with 8, but I think 5's enough. 4 is not enough. You need 5. But I'll show you how I'm going to make it. So hello. Oh, good. Thanks, Emma Lou. It is in focus. Thank goodness for that. Just looks odd looking at this. Okay, anyway, never mind. It's this set I'm going to use today. It's called Hang an Ornament, and it's rather nice. It's got these 2 pretty ornaments, a holly leaf and a berry that I've used a load, a leaf, a word that says pull, which I'll talk about in a minute, a little hook, so you can stamp a hook, and 2 nice sentiments that fit across the middle of the baubles, just for you or all is merry. So the 2 baubles, this one has the sort of Christmas leaves and sort of, there could be flowers or anything, I suppose. This one has sort of more general leaf type patterns. So that could be used at any time of the year. It certainly doesn't have to be just used at Christmas. You could use it at any time of the year. And the bundle itself comes with the dies. So here are the dies. We've got loads of berry dies. You can cut out loads of berries and holly leaves. And this cuts out the sort of pointy leaf thing. That cuts out the holly leaf. We've got this banner, which fits across the middle. And we've got this straight one as well. Then we've got the bauble die, an arrow that you can stamp your pull on, a little embossed bit for the top of the ornament, which I have to say I have not bothered with, and a little hook that you could use as well for the ornaments. So a lot of, for those of you that like fiddly things. Hello, Jenny. Oh, hello, by the way, Emma Lou. Yes, that's fine. Hello, Jenny, watching from South Africa again. Lovely. Oh, I'm so glad. It's lovely to hear that people are joining me from all over the place. I love it. Okay, so this cuts out the baubles. I've shown you the actual thing. I'm going to show you a card as well I've made with it, just to show you a different way to use these. But I wanted to show you how to make these because you could make loads of them for the tree. So to make them, you need approximately half a sheet or long strip of your coloured card. I've already got quite a few of these made because we need to. So a strip the length of A4 is about right to cut out 5. If you want 6, I think you need slightly more, but it's approximately half a sheet of A4 you'll need for this. So you can make loads out of card. I've used colour for this second one I'm making here. This one, obviously, I used basic white as the base. So how we're going to make these, and that's my phone. I hope this isn't going to go. Sometimes if people phone, nah, what are you doing? Just ignore me. Right. Hopefully this is still working okay. Let me know if the picture does vanish, because sometimes if people try to ring me, that the actual picture from the phone vanishes. So let me know if it does. Anyway, let us go. So we're going to emboss, which means we do need an embossing buddy. So we're going to first of all just emboss the cardstock that we're going to use. And then you need Versamark ink, really important. It's Versamark, because you can emboss a little bit with ordinary ink, but I'll talk about that another time. Let me just talk about this. So I'm going to give it a really good cover in Versamark, then press it down on my cardstock and just hold it for a second. I think Versamark takes better if you just hold it for a minute, as does most stamping actually. Don't be too quick to come back off your cardstock with any stamping. And then I need, where have I put it? I can find my silver. I can't find, oh, there it is. I put it at the side so it was easy to find, and then promptly lost it. Because I've done these in gold. I did my first one in silver, so I thought I'll do gold for these ones. So just going to cover it in the gold embossing powder. So hopefully you can just about see that. Obviously you can't see it that much because it's not been heat embossed yet. So you want to make 5 of these, but I've saved some time because it's boring just watching me do these. So I have actually done already 4. So this is the 5th. So I'll just get my heat gun. Hold it against to make sure it's actually hot before you put it on the card. It will bend cards slightly, the heat gun. So you want to sort of have it hot so it's ready to melt the embossing powder really before you put it towards it. Now I'm going to hold it slightly to the side in the hope that you can see this going. Can we see that appearing? I don't know, it might be still a bit dark at the desk level. That will show you the first half of it. So I now have to do the second half. Which I'll do quite quickly because it's all heated up so much now. Hope you could hear me over that. That's the one problem with the heat gun, because it is noisy. And I've got bits of embossing buddy all over the desk. It does leave a dust, but it's fine. So there we have that gorgeous bauble. And now we can cut it out with the die, which I should have got out before. A little clue, there is a hole at the top of the die. That's to help you actually push it out when you've finished. And the reason I wanted to talk about the pull thing is this die, I don't know if you can see, but it's got little gaps in it here. It's got 3 little gaps, which means that you can cut a piece out of card and it won't actually lift away from the card. It's still attached in those 3 bits. I'll show you what I mean when I cut this out. So that means that if you wanted to hide a special message behind a bauble, and I did think about doing one of those cards today, but I didn't. Let me just grab a piece of low-tack tape to hold it in place. That you could actually have a bauble with a little hidden message behind, which is always fun. But I've made hidden message cards before and not too long ago. So have a look on my blog if you need to find out how to make those. But I decided I wouldn't bother with the bauble. I'm just going to cut it out. But be aware that these 3 little bits are still attached. I'll show you what I mean as it goes through the mini cut and emboss. So I'll get my sandwich together. Slightly adjust my plates so they're not exactly straight, because it does go through easier if that is the case, and then I can run it through my machine. And I shall show you what I mean about those 3 little bits holding it. Let's get this all out of the way. So if I try and take this off carefully now, you see what I mean? It's actually still attached to the card. Yeah. So if you did want to make a hidden message card, that's where you'd use that little arrow die with the pull stuck in it, and then people would be able to peel off that and see a hidden message. So to make these, you do have to peel it off. If you're very fussy, it does leave a little, can I try and show that? Can you see it's got a little sort of edge to it where it was still attached? So if you're being very fussy, trim those off. Sometimes I don't bother. Sometimes I feel a little bit OCD and I definitely trim off those little edges. So you want 5 of those, and there I have 5. You also, have you got self-adhesive sheets? Hi, Annie. That's lovely to. Oh, Annie's saying hello to Emma Lou, not me. Okay, I'll say hello to you anyway, Annie. Hello, Carol and Crafty People. Oh, you're there. There, I've seen you now. Sorry, I've lost my thread of things. Okay, the embossing on the paper makes the absolutely. I love the gold. You can use silver on. Shall I do one in silver just to show you? You can use the silver too, but I love this one. This one. Actually, you'll see on the card I'm going to make in a bit, this one does give a sort of fuller embossing. So that you use whichever one you want, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I was going on about the gold foil. So you also need for this ornament just a small piece of gold foil, about 3 inches by, how big's this? About 2 inches, yeah. So 5 centimeters by 7 centimeters if you're going in centimeters, just a strip of just gold foil sheet. And I have covered the back of this with self-adhesive film. And the reason is I don't want so much to have loads of glue on here to move it around. I'll show you what I mean by that in a minute. So these have all got the self-adhesive film on the back, so they're going to stick anyway because they've all got those on. So you need 5 of those. That is this die, this curvy rounded die, don't know what you call that, the rounded strip, I don't know, anyway, that one. So you want 5 of those and 5 of your embossed ornaments. So now to put it together, we're going to fold each of these in half. So we want to fold it right down this middle bit. So fold it carefully. It's thick cardstock, so you've got to be careful, but try and get it right in the middle as much as possible. Now I find doing this with my fingers is easiest. You could measure and use your scoreboard to just put a crease down it, but I find you can do it okay with your fingers. So use your fingernails, or you can use your bone folder, of course, just to really give that a fold so it's in the middle there. So we're going to do that with all of these ones. So as I said, I try and get the edges together and then squeeze it, and then the top will normally fold nicely. And the little hole that is in the die for the handle, which means you can put thread through it if you're obviously using it somewhere else, you could actually put the thread through the top. I did think for this that I could thread the thread through the top to hold it, but no, I've got a better way and a quicker way, because I think trying to get thread through all of these and get it to hold together is just, that way lies madness. So we're not doing that. I'll show you a different way to do it. So let me get on with this and stop talking, and then I can fold all of these. So as I said, if you put the edges together, I find it does fold just nicely down the middle, and then give it a nice sort of squeeze so it's nicely folded. So bringing the edges together. Oh, look, that one's got a little bit of an edge on it from the die. Let me just trim that. Better. Sometimes I can get a bit OCD. So bringing the edges together, edges together, and then squeeze. So as I say, if you want, then use your trimmer, but it is a round shape, so it's actually quite difficult to get straight. That one has definitely got some edges on from the die, so I'll just trim those off. I didn't actually cut that out very well. It's got embossing one more side than the other. Okay, well, never mind. It's okay. It'll be fine for this ornament. Okay, so that's all of those folded in half. You also want to fold each of these in half, which is a lot easier. So we're just going to bend it round, hold the edges together, squeeze in the middle. So I'll do that on all of these. Really could have done this first, and it save you sitting watching me do it. How's everybody getting on? Have most of you made all your Christmas cards yet? I think I've got on quite well with mine. I think I've got a few more to make. I've certainly got a couple of special ones to make and a couple of special birthday cards to make. It's my mum's birthday in December, so I'll need to make a special card for her. Haven't decided what yet. I shall let my subconscious focus on it. Sometimes I find if you think about it too much, you get too many ideas. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to make her. She's musical, so I might make her a musical one. I've got an old musical set, which is lovely to make cards with, but I think I did one last year. I can't remember which card I made for her last year. Isn't that terrible? So I don't think she'd notice if I made her the same one. Actually, she probably would. Right, so I've folded all those in half before I get too much worrying about what I'm going to give my mum. That's a while away. So I'm going to use just some Tombow to stick these together. And when they're folded, you want to put the glue just on one side. Gosh, this is a new Tombow and there's a lot of it there. So I can just use this to spread it around a little bit, use the other side of this, and then the side of the card, and then I'm pressing them together. So I'm sticking 1/2 to 1/2. So I've got a little bit of glue coming out there. I did put too much on there. So I'm just sticking each half to the next half until I've just got one left. So that's 2 together. Let's do a third. So I'm using the back of this to actually, I've got that, and I'll have that on the other side now, won't I? I've got that, I used the wrong side to stick it together. So now I'm going to be pressing in the glue. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. I'm now pressing around that glue because I managed to get glue on that side because I used the wrong side to spread out my Tombow, which is really stupid. Just use the correct side. And the key is just try and make sure that these top bits line up, and then the bottom bits will automatically line up. So we're just sort of putting them in a pile like this until I have one left. Do not use that last one yet, because then if we open it out, you'll see that we've got, why is that all stuck together? Because I had too much glue around that first one and it stuck to the second. So that is the basis of our ornament, but we're left with 2 blank sides. And I would use tear and tape for this next bit. And I think should we use the gold thread I've got here? I think there is a gold and silver trim in the current catalogue. This is old thread, and you need a good length of it, probably about 16 inches or 40 centimetres, something like that. Nothing too far. And I wouldn't be measuring it out exactly, but you know, a decent length. And then I'm going to just tie the ends together. So by holding them together and then just tying a little knot in the ends, because this will just help stop it pulling out. So I've just tied the ends together in a knot, which leaves a big long, oh, that's a really long loop. I think I'll probably have this coming a bit further through my ornament actually. And then I'm just going to use, if I can find the end of my tear and tape, which is definitely hiding, there it is. I'm going to use about 3 strips across here. So one there, one in the middle, and one at the bottom. Because I really want this to help hold the thread in place. So now I can take those off. And I'm going to stick it down across all of those pieces. So I'm going to have the knot sort of at the bottom there. I can trim that if necessary. And then sort of bring it together, sort of up the centre, and just stick it down. So it's really stuck down on those bits of tear and tape. And if necessary, I can use my ribbon scissors, always important, to just trim the ends off. Oh, can't pick it up, off the ribbon if it's too long and sticking out the other end, which you don't need. So we're going to stick that down like that, and then we can stick this final one on. So I'm just going to put some glue around the edges there, and then I can stick this on, being a bit more careful because it's going straight onto tear and tape, so it will stick down almost straight away onto that. Give it a good press down, and there, when we open them all up, this is a 5 one. As I said, you could use 6 or however many you want, but definitely more than 4 is all I would say. And there is my second bauble. So what do you think? Are you going to have a go at them? Let's have a look. You made a free Christmas cards, but they aren't your favourite to make. Okay. Does she sing or play? She used to sing. She was a brilliant singer in her youth. She actually did the Royal School of Music course and was qualified. Can't remember the letters she got after her name. Royal School of RSM something. Anyway, she got that. She was brilliant at singing. She can play the piano as well. She plays the organ for church still, actually. Right, so great way to add the thread. Yeah, absolutely. It's so easy. If you just tie it or try and tie it through the ends, it looks messy somehow. But this, you can get it, so it should come right through the middle. Yeah, there it is. So it comes right up. Can you see that? How it's coming right up through the middle of there. So it doesn't look messy at all because it's not stuck anywhere it shouldn't be. And I think if you tried to thread it through all the holes in there, you'd end up with a knot one side, which is no good at all. So that I thought was by far the better way to add the thread. So there we are. Now, these ones, why did I make these? I'll show you. So I'm going to now take the backing off these. Just makes it so much easier to stick if you use this self-adhesive stuff. And these would normally, the die is meant to go across the center of the bauble, but I think just to finish it off, I'm actually wrapping it round the side. So I'm going into the middle and then folding it so that it covers the center of each bauble. It doesn't just join in the middle there, but I think that just looks nice to give it a real edge and just add a little bit more interest to it. I mean, you could stick some gems on as well. There's all sorts of things you could do if you wanted. The baubles would go flat into a card as a gift. Absolutely they would, yes, because they will go flat. And that means for storing them, they're a lot easier to store than boxes of the normal round baubles because I'm sticking to my top. Got glue on my finger. Just rub it off. And as usual, I'm making a right mess and getting bits everywhere, but that's fine. The self-adhesive stuff is so useful. It's worth getting some. I actually have got some actual Stampin' Up ones. I don't know if they sell it anymore, but I get mine mainly now from Amazon. As I get most things from Amazon nowadays. That sounds bad, but hey, it's convenient and it comes so quickly. So just 2 more to go. But you can see why I couldn't put these on before. You have to actually make the bauble first before you can stick these on. My voice is going croaky. Why's my voice going croaky? That's bad. So again, just folding these around each one, then the final one just to finish. So I think I'm going to be decorating my tree with quite a lot of homemade baubles this year because they are so quick and easy to do because you can obviously stamp and emboss the whole sheet at once, all 5 at once. And there we have it. 2 baubles. There we go. They go flat into a card as a gift. Yes, you can pop them into a card aperture as a spinner card. Yeah, it would be very deep. That would be the only thing because you'd need to have them sticking out. So you'd have a very deep spinner card. You can make a box card and put it in the middle of that and have it spinning in the middle. That might look quite nice. But there we go. So it's very difficult to show baubles. If I hang them up, you can't see them properly. I'll put them on my hand and then you can see them better. So I hope you like those. They're good fun. So great way to, I think I've read all the rest of those. Yeah, good. So there's my baubles. I'm going to make quite a few more by the time we get to Christmas. But I thought I'd also show you today, just as a little extra for those of you that are live. I'll mention it in the blog, but there won't be the full instructions. And that is a missed. I was trying to put that in the bag and I went right down the back of it. Oh, really? Okay. So let me show you the card I made to go with it. So I could, as you say, yes, these will fold flat and you can put them in a card as a present to somebody and then they just have to squeeze them a bit and they soon come out back into shape. So I made this card, which I really like. Oh, thank you, Annie. They are beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, so I made this card, which is I embossed in silver this bauble flat on the card front, and then I embossed this one on a separate piece of basic white and cut it out with the die. I had an extra gold thing left, so I put it over here, and I stamped All Is Merry and embossed that in gold on the cherry cobbler, which I've used as the layer for the card, and stuck it across there. And then I used the banner. This is actually from the Peaceful Season set. Beautiful set of words and dies. It's got this lovely Christmas. If you're cutting out the Christmas and putting it on there, definitely use the self-adhesive tape. It's really useful, the self-adhesive backing, before you die cut it. But it's got these lovely shapes to cut out, lovely sentiments, load of sentiments in it as well, that I've used inside the card too, actually. But the banner is from there. It's a rather nice banner. It's actually cut out here, so you could actually slot that over a corner of something, which is quite nice. But I just raised it on dimensionals across the ribbon that I put on as the sort of hangers for the baubles on the card. But I thought that was a little bit plain. And although I quite like it, and I'll definitely send it to somebody, I thought it was a little bit plain. So for the one I'm going to put together now, and I have done most of it because I didn't want to spend, I didn't know how long the bulb was going to take, so I didn't want to spend too much time fiddling. For this other one, I actually did the same thing. I stamped the holly and I embossed the bauble, and then I ran it through an old embossing folder I've got, the Merry Melodies embossing folder. Does the self-adhesive backing make your dies sticky? No, it doesn't, interestingly, because the die cuts through it. It probably would have used the same die loads and loads and loads. I have never had a problem with that. Never had a problem with that. But it's so much easier if you're cutting out very intricate dies that you then want to stick to something, like the Christmas out of this set. If you want to stick the Christmas along its sort of outline backing, I mean, this is beautiful, but you have this little tiny bit. Let me use this as a pointer. You have this little tiny dot over the eye. And that, how would you stick that on? Just with a bit of glue? That would be so fiddly. So use the backing, and then that's already got stickiness on it. You can take the backing off before you take it out of the die, and then you can just lay it on top to stick it on here. It's up to you which way you do it. I quite like, if I've got, let me just get this die out to show you. So if I'd cut this out and got the backing on it, I'd then probably take it off from here, take the backing off before I stuck it on my, say I'd cut out a piece of card with this die. So I've got my Christmas there. So I'd take off the backing, including off that bit, but not take it out of the die. And then you can actually place the die on top of your cut out bit of cardstock and just use the holes in the die to push it out, including that eye, which is really important. That's the eye on top. And if you push through here, and it will stick, because you've got the self-adhesive backing, it will stick to your outline that you've already cut. And then you can lift the die away and your Christmas will be stuck across here. So yeah, really good for small words, really good. Pop for Amazon. Yeah, I'll have a look, and I can't remember why. It's self-adhesive sheets or something. I think I got mine called, I think we're called Stick It, and they're very good. They're very good. Absolutely fine for what I need. And you sort of, they've got backing on each side, so you take off the sort of thicker backing, which is cut, so you can peel it off easier. You don't have to peel it from the edge, if that makes sense. I should get the, let me go and get a sheet so I can show you. So this is the stuff I had. I can't remember where I got this from, but I know I've got my latest packs from Amazon. So you can see I just cut it to shape, to fit whatever I want it to fit. So if I got a piece of, no, it's not big at all. I've got this piece. Let me stick some on here, and then we can cut out the Christmas, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm really getting carried away now, aren't I? But it'll give you an idea. Can you still get the dies for the baubles and sentiments? Yes, I'm sure. This is a current bundle, the Peaceful Seasons. So it is a current bundle. I think it's still available. I haven't checked on the list at the moment to know what isn't available at present. I know this wasn't for a time, but then it came back in stock. I'm pretty sure this one is still available. And yes, you buy it as a bundle, so you get the 10% off as well, which is brilliant. So yeah, when you get these sheets, can you see how they're cut on one side? So they're cut into, there's like a cut of strips, which then makes it really easy to peel that off and stick it onto whatever you need to stick it onto. So if I peel this bit off, actually, yeah, I'll do it this way. I'll peel this bit off, oops, and then I can stick it to the back of this card. like that. And then I cut off the extra bit I don't need, which I can keep for later. So it goes a long way, actually, because you don't usually cover a whole piece of cardstock like that. I would normally cut off the size of bit I need. And then this bit obviously isn't sticky at all yet, because I haven't peeled it off, because I haven't cut anything out of it. Where did I put my bag? Over there. Let's put that with that for a minute, put it away in later. So if I then cut out, let's cut out Christmas. Actually, if I cut out the Christmas, it's a bit odd. I'm doing it in green and gold, but hey, that's Christmas. So I'll cut this out from here. Let me just move this lot. I'm just going to make this together like the other cards. So I'll get round to it in a bit. But let me show you this. So first of all, I'm going to cut my backing that we're going to stick the Christmas to. So I'll cut this out in this green bit I've just got here. Let's quickly run that through. Oops, squishing my ornaments the other side, but that's fine. So there is my Christmas backing. And then I can cut out the actual Christmas word from this piece here that I've already got the special backing on. Yeah, that I've already put the self-adhesive sheet on. So now I can cut that out. Have it like that. And then if I peel it off really carefully, because, oops, and then drop it, yeah. But you can see that I've got it cut out. Just put that there for a minute. I've still got my little eye in place, and this is now covered in the backing. So if I'm careful, before I get it out of here, I can just get hold of the edge of the back. This will be fiddly, but then it'll peel off. Oh, it's all coming out. I'm just going to try and leave it in, so I'll keep a finger on it just to hold it in place. Christmas is coming out. Ooh, stay in place. Just fiddle with the last bit. There we go. So I'll just try and rest it back in its die again for a minute, because I also need to get off that bit without that coming out. So I'm just using my pokey tool, just very gently to encourage the backing to come off, but leave the actual shape in there. There we go. And now I can put this in, keeping it, whoa, it's got to come out of the die. But if I place the die now over my outline, it's going to come out. So that fell out because I hadn't got it fully back in the die. So it's a little bit more fiddly to then get it to line up. There we go, and it's immediately stuck in. I've still got my dot in the Christmas, so I can put that over the top, press down with my pokey tool, and there's my eye in place. Yeah, so that wasn't quite how I wanted to show you, but hopefully you got the idea. But it really works well. I do like this self-adhesive sheet stuff. I'll have to use that on a card now or something. Not sure I like the red on the not sure I like the red on the green, but I'm sure I can find some way to use it. Right, let's get on with just putting this card together before I finish today. Oh, I've got bits of backing of self-adhesive tape all over me now. Right, so yeah, what I found was, going back to this, you think the red looks fab on the green. I'm glad. I'm not sure about it, but I'll use it in some sort of card. Actually, I've got a good idea of what card I can use it in. The one I'm planning for next week. Anyway, not going to give you any more away there. So yes, when I wonder if I can take this off a little bit where you can see it. So when I actually embossed that, the embossing obviously came through the die too that I'd embossed straight onto the card. So I did do a second ornament and stuck it on top so that it really does stand out. I have got another one of these which has got half a piece of, by the look of it, half a piece of sticky on it. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's probably enough just to stick it down actually. So I'm going to stick that across there. That was easy. Good. Let me put that die away before I lose it. And then I wanted to show you the ribbon and how I put the ribbon on, because I've used ribbon on the card. Where's my other card? Okay. Oh, I've got so many things out now, it's ridiculous. I've used ribbon to do the sort of hangers for the baubles on here because it's cherry cobbler and gold, which just matches my cherry cobbler mat that I've used. The sizes for these, by the way, they're all normal. So this is our normal base. I've already done the inside, which is 21 by 14.8 scored at 10.5, or 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4.25 if you're working in UK sizes. Then my first mat layer, 4 centimeters, 10 by 14.3 inches, 4 by 5.25, and the second matte layer, the basic white, 9.5 by 13.8 or 3.75 by 5 for US sizes. But I'm not sticking this on. I want to finish this completely before I stick it on the mat because of using this ribbon. So I'm going to cut myself a piece of ribbon that will go from just behind. It actually helps having this bauble stuck on top because I can put it behind that little holder, and I want about an inch further. I'm using the wrong scissors. Use your proper scissors for your ribbon. There we go. So I measure it just about an inch further from behind there, so I've got some to stick around the back of the card, and I want to stick it down with my tear and tape if I can find it there. So again, I need a decent length. So I'm going to stick it from the bauble, going straight up the card, and then wrap it round the back, because then I can stick my little piece I've cut. I'll just tuck the end behind the top of the bauble. I couldn't do this with the other card because, of course, the bauble was embossed directly onto the card. So I just stuck it to the top of the bauble. But that one I can tuck a little bit behind, which will, if it does start to fray, it won't show then. Take off the bit at the back and just fold that over. Okay. Then this second one, I've got my embossed All Is Merry. I'm going to stick that on flat because I'm going to put the whole bauble on with more glue on my desktop that I will have to clean. Stick that on there. That's just a little bit too long, so I'm just going to trim a tiny bit off. It's better. Okay, so this I'm going to put on with dimensionals. So it's a very tatty bit of card. This is a scrap bit of card, which you can see from the back. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. So I've got some dimensionals on, and I need also a little tiny bit of tear and tape that goes up by the hanger, because I'm going to stick my piece of ribbon on there, and I'm not cutting it yet. I'll show you why in a minute. It's sticking out a little bit, so I'll just fold it down behind. I'll stick my ribbon on there. Sorry, did I go out of shot then? I might have done slightly. I've come towards me off the desk. I keep forgetting to leave everything on the desk. So then this piece, I want it to hang just a little bit lower than the other one. So I'm going to place that on first. Then I can cut my ribbon. You could measure it, but I don't need to measure it if I do it this way. And again, get my piece of tear and tape. and tear and tape's just showing there. Right, so again I'm going to put this where the ribbon is going to run. Don't want to put it too close to the bauble because it's going to have to fold over the bauble a little bit because the bauble is sitting away from the card. So I've started it about 1/2 inch up above. Make sure it's stuck down properly across that embossed area, and do the same thing to stick it down. So making sure it's straight. And there we have our not so straight, actually, hangers. That's better. So there are my bauble hangers, my ribbon hangers for my baubles. Now I can finish making up the card, so I can stick this onto my mat and onto the front of the card. I've already, as you've seen, done the envelope and done the inside of the card, so I saved a little bit of time there for all that faffing about with my Christmas there. Oops, move a bit, that's better. Wasn't quite in the middle there. And then stick that on the card itself. Making sure I've got the card the right way around. Yes, that is the front. So there we have it. So there are the two cards. And I don't know, I just thought the first one was a little bit too plain, and just adding the embossing behind the second one, I think makes it look a little bit better, yeah? So popping off now, but glad you caught the live this week. Good. Thanks, Ebaloo. Nice to see you. And yeah, jolly good. Right, so there we have it. There's the two bauble cards and my two baubles for my tree. And I've got an extra Christmas that I shall put on a card later. Thanks for joining me today, and I will see you all again soon. Thanks for everyone who commented. It's lovely to see you. I hope I'll see you again next week. I've got 3 more weeks before I stop for Christmas on these lives. Then I'm going to have a bit of a break over Christmas before I start again in early January. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you again very soon.